Hello, this is Mr. Stansbury. I'm going to take you through how to figure out what test sections you can drop. This is just for the people that had turned in all their assignments on by the due date and who have also taken the final. So now what I'm going to do is just show you how to figure out what sections to drop, or should you drop the final. So right down in here is where the final is. Okay, so here's the test, 30 out of 50 for 60%, which is a D, which is not so fantastic, but if you look in here, there's plenty of there's some F's in here that you could drop instead, or maybe even some bigger D's. So let's see what we can figure out to see what's going to help your grade the most. So, excuse me, what we're going to do. Right now you're sitting at 350 out of 468, which is 74.79. So what we want to do is we want to try to figure out what tests or test sections can we drop that will make this number, the 74.79, rise as high as possible, and I'll show you how to calculate that. So this one right here, 0 out of 12, this is probably one you're going to want to get rid of. Looking down here, we got a 7 out of 12. That's not so great. Then you got a 5 out of 12. That one's obviously worse, so let's kind of keep that one in mind. 2 out of 8 is 25%, but you only missed 6 points. On this one here, you missed 7, so that might be a little bit better to drop there. 0 out of 10, we'll want to get rid of that one. And we got a 3 out of 12. We'll probably want to get rid of that one. There, right? And then we've got this 4 out of 8, which is an F also, but not too terrible. If you look in here, there's not any big huge point test. It looks like the biggest one is 14. So definitely this one, definitely this 0 out of 10, definitely this 3 out of 12, and again it looks like this 5 out of 12 here is probably going to be our best bet. 2 out of 8, that's not great either, but I bet you this 5 out of 12 is going to be a little bit better to drop. So what we're going to want to do is add up all of our possible points here. So 12 plus 12 plus 10 plus 12. Let's add those all up. 12, 12, 10, and 12, right? 12 plus 12 plus 10 plus 12 gives us, that's a total of 46 total points. And when these are things we're thinking about dropping, so that's possible points. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our 468 and subtract our, what did we say we had on there? 46 minus 46. So you do that, and we're at now 422, but of course if you take that off, you also have to take out the points that you earned. So that'll be 0 plus 5 plus 0 plus 3 for a total of 8. Okay, so excuse me, we take our 350 and we subtract our 8, and let's see, that's going to give us 342. So now we have 342 out of 422 if we drop those 4 tests. So let's see what that takes us to with our grade. Okay, so we're just going to take 342 divided by 422. We push equals, and now we're at our test score. Test average instead of 74.79 is 81.04. So now that gives us 81.04 for our test average, which has gone up a lot. That's pretty significant. Okay, so even excuse me, even though you got a D on the test, dropping all these other things is actually going to make that grade go up a lot more than if we had just dropped the test. Because if we had just dropped the test, that would be 30 off of the 350. So we take 350 and subtract the 30, and that's 320, and then we take the 50 away from the 468 minus our 50 here, and that's 418, right? So if we do, so this would have been if we had just never would have taken the final, so that would be 320 divided by 418, and that gives us a 76.56. Okay, so you can tell that's almost 5%. That's 4.5% difference. Okay, so that would give us our. So that's basically how you would calculate which ones you want to do. Just basically find your low for, and again, even if some of these, this 25, we had a 25%er in here. Even though that's a lower percent, this 5 out of 12, this 41.6% is going to be a better one to drop because it's worth more points. So you can go through and calculate that out. If you want to calculate now what your overall grade was, because this grade here was 75.36, because you also have to calculate in your practice your assignments. So if you scroll down, there'll be a whole bunch of scores in there, and at the very end it'll say total scores for practice. So this here is 90%. Excuse me, 90% of your grade, right? So we do 81.04 times 0.9. That's 90% of your grade, and then we're going to add in our homework grade. So 80.53 plus 80.53, and that's worth 10% of your grade. So 0.1, right? So let's do this. Let's move that over to give us a little bit more room. And then we will find out what those two numbers are, add them together, and then that'll be our total overall percent. Okay, so let's take 81.04 times 0.9, and that gives us 72.94 we'll go with. Okay, and then we want to do we're going to add 80.53 times 0.01, which basically just means move the decimal over, right? So that's plus 8.05, right? Now we add those two together, 0.99, and now we are at a 80.99. So now we've moved from, we were at a C, which was 75.36, and then now we're up to an 80.99. So that raised our grade once we dropped that test 5.5%. So that's pretty significant. Okay. So, and again, if we were to figure it out, what would happen if we didn't take the final? We'd take this number here. Oops, the 76.56, multiply that by 0.9. And then again add on our same thing, the 80.53 times 0.1, and that is 8. We've already figured out that's 8.05. And so let's see, let's do 76.56 times 0.9, and that gives us 68.90. Oops, that's 9. Sorry, it's being a little glitchy here. Well, that's 0.95 and 8. So that would have been a 76.95. So just by taking the final, getting a 60% on the final, our grade rose over 4%, just because we got to drop all those poor test scores. Now, of course, the higher your scores, the higher your worst scores are, the less your grade will go up. Okay, so that's what you want to do today. Try to figure out which tests you want to drop, and then we can take care of that. Okay, all right. If you have any other questions, feel free to ask.